Now, thanks to 90 Mile Wines and Anytime Fitness Glenelg, it's Chewing the Fat with Bevan Jones.
G'day, welcome to another edition of Chewing the Fat, and the Bays are up and about. They're the minor premiers for 2019 in the SANFL. We're joined by a star from the Bays. He's played 95 games, represented South Australia this year for the very first time in their great 7-point win over WA, and also last year's best and fairest winner. That is Maxie Proud. Max, great to have you on Chewing the Fat, mate.
Thanks, Bevo. Cheers for having me.
So let's talk about your journey so far. Your footy journey. How'd you end up at the Bays?
Obviously a local boy, so I went to Sacred Heart down the road and played my junior footy at Plimpton. So I remember coming to games at the Glenelg Football Club and standing behind the goals over there, and you'd have the blokes on one side and the girls on the other side, and that used to be your sort of Saturday arvo activity. But then obviously as I got a bit older, I started doing some junior footy out here. Didn't always get a game, and then once I finished at Sacred Heart, played under 18s here, and then obviously worked through reserves and into the league side, so just always been around the place. Yeah, but obviously it was a bit hard to start with. It takes a bit to find your feet, and then eventually you start playing consistent league footy. So,
and you've done really well, because you've battled through a lot of injuries. A lot of people probably would have given up, to be honest, with what you've been through, but it must make you feel really good knowing that you played the 95 games now, and the team itself are flying, going for your first flag since 1986, so you must feel pretty happy about that.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it hasn't always been easy, and we've obviously had a sort of a long absence from the finals, but yeah, it's nice to be back there, and there's a bit of excitement around. You get all the fans and all that excited, but I mean, we're going to treat it sort of as another game really once we get to finals. But as you said, it was a few injuries sort of along the way, and a few times where you think, oh, what am I doing? Why am I training so much? But I couldn't leave the place, so it sort of showed that that's why I wanted to stay, and I'm glad I did.
And you brought in a bit of talent this year with Leaky Partington, obviously Corey Gregson, a couple other boys, Liam McBean, the leading goal scorer for the SANFL. And last season you just missed out on the finals. So where do you think the turnaround's been this year?
A multitude of things really. I mean, obviously those blokes help. So we've recruited well. We got a couple of blokes back, like Liam and Brad Agnew, who went overseas last year. Obviously a game plan, a consistent game plan with the coach Mark Stone. Obviously towards the end of last year we started playing more consistent footy, and then obviously that game plan's just carried into this year. We've had a pre-season to train it. And obviously the group as well, a bit more of a sort of a core group, and that's been here for a while now and starting to really gel together, and even some good young guys coming through as well, which you've seen this year. Some guys have sort of come in and played their first games and played a role. So and that's all we expect for anyone that plays in the team, is just to play the role. So.
And let's go back to your debut back in 2012. Do you remember it against South Adelaide?
Yeah, I do. It was a night game. It was here. I stood Andrew Ainger. But yeah, I think we just went down that game. But I mean, you never forget your first crack at league footy, and you had to work fairly hard for it back then. You still do now, but I remember I was sort of toiling away for a while, thinking I was ready to play league, and sort of kept holding out, and then got the opportunity. So obviously it was a great honour to play league footy, and it's taken me a fair while to get to 94 more, but hopefully get to 100 games early next year.
Yeah, fingers crossed for that, mate.
Yeah.
And what was it like this year playing for the state for the very first time, and obviously getting a win over there in WA since the first time since 2003, I think the last time you guys won over there?
Yeah, it was obviously a great honour to represent the state, and even just to get the squad, I was pretty stoked with. But yeah, then to go into state, travel, which you obviously don't do sort of in state league footy, but to go to travel with blokes you normally play against, great experience, and then to play on Optus Stadium and to win, it was a pretty surreal sort of 48 hours, because it went so quickly, and obviously got to celebrate afterwards, and then you sort of get back, and yeah, you're playing against those guys the next week. So it all happened pretty quickly, but I think it was something that I really look back on sort of at the end of the career and be pretty sort of proud of. Hopefully there's a couple more sort of state games in there. So.
Yeah, I've interviewed Matty Rose recently. One of the things that he talked about was how, you know, you get to, like you mentioned before, you get to play against these guys on Saturdays, but then they're your best mates for that game, and you get to really build up a great relationship with them. That must be really cool as well.
Yeah, well, often when you play against these blokes, you don't really like them, but then you actually realise they're decent blokes, so it's good. Yeah, but then when you do play against them, it's all serious again. So.
That must be,
we're all competitive.
Yeah, and the 2019 final series is going to be super exciting. Obviously, we've got the Magpies and Crows playing in the qualifying final and the elimination Sturton Norwood. How do you see the finals going?
Yeah, obviously we'll watch pretty closely this week. We'll train Saturday and just enjoy the weekend off. Obviously, it's been a while since we've played, but I mean, we've got a pretty sort of good group where we're just going to treat it sort of as any other game and not try and think about it too much. But yeah, we just know that if we play our sort of consistent footy and everyone plays their role like we did throughout the year, that we're a good chance. So obviously, yeah, just concentrate on training for the next week and a bit, and then get on Adelaide Oval, which is exciting.
Yeah, get excited.
Yeah.
And the Proud family is a pretty big sporting family. You've got your sister Maddie, and you've got your brother who plays a bit of footy at Victor, and then your grandparents and father who have played footy at a high level as well.
Yeah, it is. Obviously, she's the golden child. Everyone knows Maddie, and she's pretty amazing at what she does. Obviously, she's injured at the moment, but she's had a very good netball career so far, and captain of the Swifts. And then, Dad played at West Adelaide, Grandpa at North Adelaide, and then Dougie's off on the forgotten one, but he's probably the most talented of the lot. He's very smart, and he plays at Shocks these days, just down the road. So they're in a final series at the moment. And then also my mum's side, they're sort of tied in with Glenelg as well, and I've actually got a cousin who's playing reserves, Oscar. So yeah, we're sort of a bit of a sporty family, I guess, and there is a lot of ties with Glenelg just through mum's side and her brothers as well. So they've all played footy at Glenelg. So yeah.
And outside of footy, what are your interests, Maxie?
I love to travel. You don't get to do too much of it when you're playing sort of half serious footy, but in the off season I always go away and sort of like to go on a snow trip or to the beach or something like that. But I don't know, go to a gig every now and then. It's nothing too more than that really.
And we all love our practical jokes. So what's the best one you've come across since your time at the base?
Oh, there's been a few, I reckon. There's been a few, but one that sticks to mind is we have a gala auction every year, gala dinner, and one year there was a silent auction and Darcy Bailey's written down Matt Snook's name for a silent auction item, and was for like a blow dry and a perm or something like that. He ends up getting the winning, so he had to go and get a perm done, which he probably doesn't need.
That's brilliant. Yeah. One of the best, I love it. And to finish, we're going to do something called 90 seconds thanks to 90 Mile Wine. So one of our sponsors up there in Galway, shout out to them. We're going to go through a series of questions in 90 seconds, Maxie. So first one, your favourite food?
Burritos.
Favourite band?
Arctic Monkeys.
Favourite gig you've ever been to?
Kings of Leon at Memorial Drive.
Nice. Your favourite drink?
Say beer? Or?
Yeah,
coffee, lattes.
Favourite holiday destination?
Norway.
Funniest teammate and why?
Brad Agnew. He's just always laughing and makes you laugh.
Biggest pest at the club and why?
Probably Corey Gregson. He's not that funny.
Just likes to bug you?
Yeah, he just likes to sort of have a joke around, but he's never very serious. It's good. It's good.
Pie with or without sauce?
When I was a kid, probably without, but definitely with sauce.
If I'm using an iced coffee, fan or not a fan?
I don't drink it very often, but I'm a fan.
Fair. Yep. And I reckon that's about it, Maxie. Right. So thanks so much for joining us on Chewing the Fat today, mate. All the very best in the finals.
Cheers, Bevo.
And thanks again.
Thank you. Cheers.
Shout out to Glenelg Footy Club for letting us have a chat to the great man as well. See you again next time, guys. Take care and bye for now.
Thanks.